Hello everyone and welcome back to another exciting Art of War review video. Today we are talking about the Sons of Ferrus Manus, the Iron Hands of the new Space Marines that have come to grace us at the twilight stages of 10th edition.
That's right. We've got more Space Marine rules coming out. It's a Space Marine party fiesta all the time. And if you want rules for all the different chapters, we're doing reviews on every single one. So you can check that out all over our YouTube channel. But today we're talking about Iron Hands.
Iron Hands. Now, Nick, I'm going to take you down history lane.
Oh boy.
Real quick. At the end of 8th edition, maybe about a little over 2 years into 8th edition, who knows if it was the end, Iron Hands got a codex supplement and the game imploded. It was bad. It was bad. That codex got nerfed 4 times and then it was only the best space.
There were a lot of unkillable dreadnoughts.
They were, and they played against each other. And then we moved on to a more civilized age, 9th edition. And after about 2.5 years, we looked down and we realized that the best Space Marine chapter was Iron Hands. And boy, is that a sign of the end times, which almost reminds me of, hold on, let's go further back. The end of 7th edition, when the Gorgon chain came out, you had a 2-up Feel No Pain on a bike captain, which was literally unheard of. That was Iron Hands. And you know, now here we are, about two and a little bonus years into 10th edition.
And now we've got new Iron Hands.
And we've got new Iron Hands.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Oh, for I shall not. All right, today we're going to be talking about the new Caanok Var datasheet and, of course, the new Hammer of Avernii Detachment that's coming out with it. And we're going to see if they have broken this streak that has lasted for a very long time of Iron Hands at the end of the edition. Shall we?
I'm so ready.
So if you like this video, if you like this content, make sure you like the video. And, of course, check everything else on the rest of the channel. So we're going to dive into Caanok Var. Caanok Var is a Terminator character. He is T5, 6 wounds, 2 up armor, 4 benevolence. He's a spaceman character. And he does have a 5 of Feel No Pain, by the way, so he's a little bit tougher than normal. He carries a Storm Bolter that is exactly what you think. And he has a melee weapon named Axiom, which is a big club that he hits you with. Axiom is like, it sounds all like mathematical and precise, and it's just a stick that he beats you with. And I love that for him. Weirdly enough, this club has a sweep profile. I don't understand how this happened.
You just go to the club and you start spinning in a circle, John.
Absolutely, that's what I do at the club. But the strike profile is 5 attacks of strength 8, AP 2, damage 2, which is a power fist, which is totally fine.
But it's Axiom, so it's cool.
It's Axiom, but this is the same stats as a power fist. Yeah. But it does have a sweep profile, which is 10 attacks of strength 5, AP 2, damage 1, which, you know what? That's better for killing elves.
Okay, this guy is not bad at melee, but you're not taking him for the melee.
No, you are not. He has deep strike, he's a leader, he's going to be joining Terminators and Assault Terminators, and he's got 2 special rules here. First up is Cold and Calculating. Each time a model in this model's unit makes an attack that targets a monster or vehicle, you get lethal hits. Okay, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
And each time a model in this model's unit makes an attack that targets anything else, you get sustained hits.
That's actually quite a nice rule. You always get a bonus, and then lethal hits or sustained hits, and Oath the Moment. Don't forget we got Oath the Moment in this chapter.
There's always access to rerolls.
Yeah.
And notably, this is both shooting and in combat. So you can actually take a shooting Terminator squad, and with lethal hits, Oath of Moment, you're actually putting a very noticeable amount of damage.
One of
to
the
the field.
sad things about Terminators these days is that they wound vehicles on 5s, and they just don't get it done. But when you add reroll hits, lethal hits, they do get it done.
They actually could get it done.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Next, he has a Cerebrix logic engine, which is at the start of the declare battle formations, you can select 1 Adeptus Astartes infantry from your army, and it gains Scout 6. Nice. That's actually pretty cool.
That's a very useful rule.
Yeah, Scout 6. You know, I have to look up how the FAQs work on this, because I'm pretty sure that they made an FAQ for the Zogrod unit, where if your scout distance is more than your normal move distance, you still get to make the full scout move. I believe it's like Zog unit like Scouts 12 or something ludicrous. I'd have to double check this, but that is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And Scout 6 on like a Terminator squad really does get them upfield, or even just an infiltrating unit.
Or even heavy intercessors.
Or even Devastator Centurions. Theoretically. And then the second part of this is that after both players have deployed their army, you can select 1 Adeptus Astartes unit from your army and redeploy it. So that's cool. You get one redeploy. I do genuinely love a redeploy.
Yeah.
I love a redeploy. Putting things into reserves. Redeploys are great. I like redeploys. Scout's a good rule. Okay, so just like he's just like a couple of good rules. Nothing crazy.
He's like a Terminator character captain that's like a good dude.
He's gonna run you 100 points, provides you a nice, interesting alternative to a captain. Not insane, But let's see what the detachment is going to give you.
All right. If the character wasn't broken yet, it's not over. We got a lot more rules to cover.
There's a lot more to talk about. So Hammer of Avernii, which is Clan Avernii, is kind of like one of their, basically this is like their first company.
Oh, okay.
This is like all their Terminators, which it makes sense because he's the Terminator.
Terminator guy.
He's the Terminator guy.
This is an interesting direction for detachment for Finance. I've always expected to be vehicle and dreadnought based.
Yeah, and you're going to see that actually continue here, that there are a little bit more emphasis on the veterans than on the vehicles on this one, which is interesting. A couple dreadnoughts thrown in though, because of course there is. Maybe he's character unkillable. We're going to start with Calculated Annihilation as a detachment rule. Each time a model from your army with the Oath of Moment ability makes an attack that targets your Oath of Moment target, reroll a wound roll of 1.
Okay, so now we have like help getting across the finish line, especially if you're playing in that world where the Space Marine successors get +1 wound, which most tournaments do play.
Yeah, that is definitely the most common way to interpret the fact that this is a Space Marine detachment. But of course, we'll see until GW clarifies it. But still, good bonus into the Oath target.
Definitely.
This is actually, funny enough, the exact same detachment rule that we see in the Imperial Fist detachment, Shield of the Emperor, which is kind of weird that they duplicate that.
There's going to be less rerolls in 10th edition.
Fewer, maybe. Or maybe not. Recalculating is the second rule. This is like the Caanok Var bonus. Once per battle round, after your Oath of Moment target is destroyed, here we go. If Caanok Var is on the battlefield, select one enemy unit visible to that model. That enemy unit becomes your new Oath of Moment target until you select a new one.
I like that they added that it has to be visible because it makes you want to play a little more aggressively in the open with your cool character. Instead of just being behind the walls, oathing things and shooting them with guns.
Yeah, so that means you're going to use Caanok Var, which eventually means you're going to lose him, although he is pretty tough.
He's pretty tough. But Terminators too, he's very easily ignored.
But that means it's a really nice combo to like send out Caanok Var and his unit to do something, maybe ingress them in, and then kill an oath target in shooting, and then you pick a new one and it's the unit right in front of Caanok Var, and then he goes and hits it with his club.
Repicking an oath, great ability. There's nothing else to say.
Yep, just strong. Then we've got the enhancements here. We're going to start with a Spiritus Ferrum for just 1 Adeptus Astartes model. Add 1 to the attacks characteristic of the bearer's melee weapons. Once per battle, at the start of any phase, the bearer can use this enhancement. If it does until the end of the phase, you add 1 to the attacks characteristic of melee weapons by all model of the bearer's units.
Okay. +1 attack for a character, not that exciting. +1 attack for a unit, very exciting.
Yeah, once per game, but it's still pretty cool. This is actually a copy and paste enhancement from the old First Company Task Force.
Yeah.
Which seems to be the model here, not the Iron Storm that many people, myself included, would have expected. Next is Medusan Roar, which is an aura. Okay, well, I don't know what this roar is going to be. While an enemy unit, exclude monsters and vehicles within 6 inches of the bearer, each time that unit fails a battle shock test, 1 model in that unit is destroyed, chosen by its controlling player, and once per battle, when an enemy unit fails a battle shock test, you can choose for D3 models in that unit to be destroyed in this way instead.
You know I love battle shocks.
I love me some battle shocks. There's usually a limited quantity of ways to force battle shock tests in Space Marines. The most notable one on the datasheet level is Reavers. Reavers. So maybe we find some synergy in here.
I do love Reavers.
Third enhancement is the Iron Laurel. You improve the bearer's OC characteristic by 1. And once per battle at the start of any phase, then until the end of the phase, you get +1 to the OC characteristic of all models in the bearer's unit as well.
Ooh, that is good for holding primary.
That is good for holding primary.
That is +1 OC, great rule.
And it's any unit, which means you can have a little bit of flex. And you put it on, you could even put on like a jump pack unit if you want to really get up the field and go fast.
You can use it aggressively or defensively.
Yeah, you got good options there. And then the final one is Steel Font, which I guess is the text that we use on their purity seals. Yeah. I know what else the seal font would be. This is a Terminator model only. While the bear's leading a unit in your command phase, you can return 1 destroyed bodyguard model of that unit. That's actually pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. Bringing back a Terminator not only is adding the wounds and the stats to your unit, but you gain like 4 inches of distance on the...
Yeah, it's actually pretty nice.
Cool.
I could really see that on like a Terminator Librarian or Chaplain. Maybe even you take Caanok Var's unit and you put like an Ancient in it. And then you see it, because that way you get 2 characters in units, so you'll be having 0 and enhanced.
And then you could have OC3 Terminators.
You could get interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Then you're playing Custodes, but Space Marines.
Almost like that, yeah. We do have 6 stratagems here as well. First is Armor of Contempt. It is exactly what you think it is. It's that reducing AP stratagem that we all know and love. Next is Ruthless Butchery. And this is an interesting one. In your shooting phase or the fight phase, this is going to key off of a lot of targets. So I'm going to go through it very thoroughly now, and then I'm going to say, and it's the same thing. So this is 1 Adept Astartes Dreadnought, Terminator, Blade Guard Veteran, Stern Guard Veteran, Vanguard Veteran, which is basically all the veterans, because Terminators are veterans, and also Dreadnought.
Yeah, Terminators, Vets, and Dreads.
Terminators, Vets, and Dreads.
Nice. And
we saw that in the old First Company Task Force, that this stratagem and the similar ones would target all of these except Dreadnoughts. So it's kind of like we've added a little bit of Dreadnoughts.
Very handsy.
Very Iron Handsy.
I like that.
And the effect here is that until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes an attack, +1 to hit.
+1 to hit.
If your unit is below starting strength, +1 to wound as well.
That's a nice little strap for Vanguard and String Guard.
If someone has shot a Redemptor and done any amount of damage, the next time it shoots, spend a CP. +1 to hit, +1 to wound.
You thought that grenade on the Dreadnought was good ship damage? Now +1
ship damage, not so good. And it's shooting or fight phase. And so that on-demand +1 to hit, solid if you don't have an oath target up. But then the second you're hitting against something not the oath target, just, I'm slightly hurt, +1 hit, +1 wound.
Yeah. It really lets you not rely on oath, which is always something I'm worried about with Space Marine armies.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So very nice little stratagem here. Next is Dominator Beacon. In your movement phase, pick one of the Dreads, Terminators, and Vets that is within range of an objective mark you control. And that objective marker remains in your control even if you have no models within it until your opponent controls the end of the phase. This is movement phase.
Yeah, that's a weird timing for a sticky strat.
But the weird part about this is that you don't check control of the objective until the end of the movement phase.
Right.
So even though this is not the same timing as end of the command phase, it's basically the same. So you need to control the objective. The only way that I think this is different from doing it at the end of the command phase is if you hold an objective with scouts and then you walk a veteran onto it, then you can use the strat. But if the objective is empty and then you walk veterans on it, you can't use the strat.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit weird, but sticky
objectives is the nuts and bolts too. And that is
yeah, it looks like it's going to be a lot better than normal sticky objectives, and it's only a little better than normal sticky objectives. It's kind of what it ends up, but that's still good. Cogitated Ferocity is our next stratagem here. Dreadnoughts, Terminators, Vets. That has not been selected to fight this phase. And this is fight phase, but you get either sustained hits 1 or lethal hits. And until the end of the phase, you get that for your melee weapons.
How many times do I have to say that lethal hits or sustained hits with rerolls to hits is good?
It's good.
It's good.
Yep. You can even use this on Caanok Var's unit to get the opposite of what you currently have. So he gives you sustained or lethal into various top targets.
And then you get both.
And now you just do both.
That's very nice.
Good CP. Very just solid damage output buff there. Augmetic Fortitude is the next one. And this is in your opponent's charge phase after an enemy unit ends a charge move. Now this one is not Dreads. It is Terminators and Vets, not Dreads, heartbreakingly.
There's a not Dread strat?
It is. I know, but it is 1 CP minus 1 damage.
Okay. I would think that's really good on Dreads, but honestly, it's really good on all of those things, and especially good on Terminators. Holy crap, those are tough.
Yeah, so when someone charges you, now, this is your opponent's charge phase after they charge one of these units.
Yeah.
There are some really weird implications to this because it's not fight phase.
Right.
So this means that one, it gets around the timing of a lot of charge and battle shock rules. But other downsides here, if you charge them, you can't use it.
Right.
Also, if they pile into you,
now you didn't get charged.
You can't use it.
No.
If they like charge not you and then you heroic them, you still can't use it.
Yeah.
Because they're going to choose the order on this.
It's very technical.
As the Iron Hands are. The Iron Hands are very technical. But still,
you get charged, you get -1 damage.
Yeah, when it works, which is still going to be 90% of the time instead of 100. Very strong. And just having a Terminator brick, just like leading the front, Caanok Var, and think -1 damage. It's like a Deathwing Knight.
Wish. Give him a 4-wound Storm Shield, -1 damage.
Heal it.
Just to not die.
It's going to take a while. And our final stratagem is Dropship Extraction. 1 CP, end of your opponent's fight phase. Pick up a Terminator unit that is not in engagement range, and you put in Extract Reserves.
That's awesome. Yeah, up down for Terminators.
Up down Terminators.
Yeah. Especially for like a late game ingress take over the backfield play. Very nice.
So very interesting detachment here. Very much not what I was expecting.
No, I would think Iron Hands is Iron Storm, just hands.
Yep. Yeah. And they decided that that's not what they wanted to do with this detachment. And honestly, I'm not mad about that.
I like it. The Terminators needed some love. The First Company Task Force needed some attention. Iron Storm is a very toxic way to play 40k. So I am happy that didn't get buffed in any way.
Gun elf player hates Space Marines guns. I respect it.
That's true.
But yeah, this is going to be very interesting. It lacks a lot of the normal things that you want to buff Terminators, but it does buff them in a lot of different directions and in a very Iron Hands themed one. They're very resilient. If you try to charge them and kill them, they are tougher than normal. They will hit you harder than normal with the Oath buff from the Detachment Rule, with Caanok Var's second Oath, with more access to sustained and lethal than you see in normal detachments, and some very solid enhancements that are going to make you punch harder and also heal guys when you get hit. It's a very grindy, Death Guard-y way to play Space Marines. But you don't if I Control F this entire document, there are two phrases that are not going to appear anywhere. Fallback and advance.
Truth.
There is no...
Not fast, boy.
There are none of those.
We have light scars for that.
Exactly.
In the other video.
Which there's a contrast of styles here. So I think this is very interesting, and it gives you a newer, better way to play First Company Task Force. And it's going to really stand in comparison to the Imperial Fist Detachment because it's very similar. They have the same detachment rule. They both got a new Terminator character. They even have some shared stratagems between them. But it's very cool, grindy playstyle. I think the downside here is that -1 damage doesn't work in shooting, and this army moves 5 inches a turn.
I think this army is sacrificing a lot of what Space Marines can use to be dynamic, which I know you love, the Raven Guard, the White Scars, the Stormlands. And instead, it's just going for that grindy style, as you mentioned. Put your guys on the objectives, be ultra tough, increase your OC through Ancients and through enhancements, and hold the objectives, win the game. Very straightforward strategy, not a confusing dynamic one.
Yep. There's a new Terminator box set around the corner that Games Workshop has already announced with new Assault Terminators. If you're excited about that, you want to play a bunch of Terminators, this provides a new way to do it, which is actually pretty cool. But I do think it's not going to really break the glass ceiling of what Space Marines can do competitively. We've got multiple competitive playstyles right now. We have very good White Scars detachment that's kind of jockeying for position against really good Ultramarines and Raven Guards that already exist. Yeah. To me, Ultramarines and Raven Guard sit at top. White Scars, close enough to be interesting. This dynamically doesn't do that much that you can't already do in Space Marines. You can already make Space Marines walk 5 and hit hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can make them hit slightly harder here, but like not a lot harder.
Yeah, to me, this is all about whether or not it gets past the point of this is too many wounds, this is too much stuff. That's a bit of a combination of points plus rules on the data sheets. But if you get like, I don't know, 50 Terminators on the board with these stats, like it might just get there in a stat check style of way. But certainly don't think it's going to be a very popular way to play Space Marines, and I don't think that it's going to be ultimately better, as you had mentioned, than the Stormlands or the Raven Guard, the Ultramarines, because it's not as dynamic. If you tie it up, it's kind of sad.
Yeah, and I think honestly, if I'm going to take a stat check Terminator style build, if I'm not the dedicated Iron Hands player, I'm going to choose Imperial Fists because I can have 20 Terminators that are -1 to be wounded.
That's tough.
That works in shooting.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, with your combat units, as a combat army, you are worried about getting killed in combat, but you are more worried about getting killed in shooting. I like -1 damage in combat. It's great into World Eaters. But if someone just like shoots you and you're just like, oh, well, I'm -1 damage in combat, and they're like, wow, crazy, here's a multi-melta. Yeah. That's not good.
But I think this army has a lot of potential, and all Space Marines have good bones behind them. So if you're interested in playing Space Marines this way with your Iron Hands, you have a new way to do it.
All right. Thank you so much for watching this video, everyone. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We're certainly going to be talking more about these new Space Marines and, of course, breaking them down in the War Room. So make sure you check that out as well. There's going to be a lot more exciting content coming up. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Bye.